One day, in the early morning, on the seashore, thousands of seashells had been stranded. And I was walking down the shore. I saw a young boy picking up one seashell and walking a long time to bring it to the sea, then coming back and doing it again and again. And I was getting closer to him. I asked him, I said, "Boy, don't you think that your task is impossible? Don't you think that this is impossible to be achieved?" And the young boy looked at me and said, "It's gonna make a difference to him." And he walked away to the sea and dropped it in the sea. It's gonna make a difference. It's gonna make a difference to him, and it's gonna make a difference to me.
Uthongathi. Uthongathi means we are all of value to each other.
You are something because of me and I'm something because of you. And that's Uthongathi. Uthongathi developed out of the project because we felt that there's more to do in rural areas for helping people with disabilities. And the project before was people with disabilities and former street children. They live together, we sent them to school. It was a very intense project. For me, it was always important to see the person Bongani, the person Sipo, the person Noktula, that is not a disabled person. So it describes the person and with a disability, and we just felt, no, it's actually a good thing. And then internationally it was accepted that it's the person with a disability, the person with HIV/AIDS, the person who has some challenge, and no longer the HIV/AIDS, that person. So we feel it's very good for us, and then it became more dignity to the person. So it's no longer described because of the disability. That's why.
Then you can in the next few days try to teach him. In the age of 3, nursery, you try to teach him to do this. Pull. Coco! Oh, Hazel!
Some nurses from the government, they told us there's some lady in the bed. She's laying there for many years now. She's actually 19 years in bed. She's 54 years old. For 19 years she's laying in bed because she's too big to come out. She can't stand, she can't sit any longer. She couldn't sit when we came. And going to her and visiting her, giving physiotherapy, helping her to turn on the side, finding people who even put up a ramp to the house, making sure that the door gets wider, that if something happens in the house, if there's a fire, she could come out. So Hazel it's a long story, but it's exciting to help somebody like that to be now independent, even laying in bed for 19 years. And she started her own sewing business. She's sitting on the edge of the bed now, which she couldn't do a year ago. And that kind of helped the development. Her disability is getting less, and that is exciting. And she is a very happy person. She's excited when we come. She's excited when there's help, and with donations we could get a new sewing machine, and her business will improve.
How does it sound?
You see now it's nicer.
Oh,
yeah, but you don't want to see whether it's nicer before.
You see the first one. You would see the top, this needle, this cotton, the needle cotton, this one.
But it's easy, no?
It's not supposed to be like this underneath.
It's more her business, but we will give her some material and then we'll do some stuff what we can sell for her, also in Germany. So it's more like improve her business with giving her ideas also, but that she still does her own business. She still does sewing for other people. She does dresses. She does her own ideas also come up. But if we can sell something in Germany, that will help her, of course. And then we buy it from her and sell it at home.
And when we put it this way, then the head should come this way. Okay?
Grandmother was there, the mother was there, and then we realized there was the mother, and then we asked her first, what can you do? Did they teach you something in the hospital in physiotherapy? And she took that child and she threw it on her legs, and we saw that there. And then how she was bending her arms, and she just wanted to probably show us the exercise they gave her, and that was it, what she knew about it. And she said, okay, my child is brain damaged, or that child is brain damaged, until we found out it was hers. And that's what it's sad, obviously. Huh? So we have to get that bond between the mother and the child. And that will only happen if we give really that support. And the support, obviously, we're giving some exercises where you can see that helps the child. Huh? So I try to give a little bit of exercise where the child maybe start crawling, maybe start moving on the floor, maybe lays on the stomach or on the back and can do something. And that will help the mother to understand that child can still develop.
Yes, and then we push it again to the other side. Now the hand goes that way.
Now she only sees a child who doesn't do anything, just lays there. So this kind of basic exercises are important for the mother to bond with the child. Actually, it's interesting. I saw Tumelo like 4 years ago, laying in a metal house on the floor. The grandmother, that time 58 years old, he was 19. And then, funny enough, he even recognized me from another home where he was before. He realized, I know that face, and somehow the grandmother communicated with him, and he said that he saw me before in some home for people with disabilities where he was just put in a wheelchair or in a bed, and he was just standing there and was nothing done for him. So then he came with his grandmother to this house, a metal house, 3 by 4 meter. Her 2 sons are still staying with them. They have 1 bed, and he was laying on the floor. To see that young man with a severe physical disability, to see him laying on the floor, he couldn't do anything, he couldn't even switch on the TV, he couldn't crawl, he couldn't even, we thought he couldn't communicate. We thought he doesn't know anything. And the grandmother came to us, and we went more often, do physiotherapy with him, that he could get him more independent. And to see a young man, I always say he has the best smile of the people in Soweto, of the people in Soweto. His smile is just making you to continue helping him, because he's just a wonderful young person.
Yes. You can cover both of the room. How can you do that? Take my glasses now. Get the legs from each other. Like a beanie. I relax now. Relax, okay. Whoa. Relax.
A year ago, the university approached us if they can come to help us with our home-based care through students who are in the 3rd year of physiotherapy. They have 4 years, so the 3rd year where they have the first practical experience, so they come into a home-based care program with existing with us, and said, yeah, of course, we choose 2, 3, 4 people over the year, but then make a plan with them. What do you think we can achieve by the end of the year? What can we do with Tumelo over the year? And until the end of last year, Tumelo got more independent. So he can eat himself, he can switch on the TV, he can crawl on the floor. So that's what we felt with the students, that we can do it together. So they use it as a studies, they use it as a research program. And Wits University is a well-known university in South Africa. So it's interesting to have them on board and helping us with that kind of therapy and play therapy. Yeah, now there's 18 villages, 15,000 people. The villages are quite far away from each other. And then you drive on roads which are not existing. And that was in our research also something we found out, that there's no accessibility, there's no road to the house, there's no way to come out of the house. Now if you're out of the house in a wheelchair, where do you go? Because you can't go anywhere, there's no road. And this kind of driving to these homes, it takes a long time. So you really have to plan your day. that child, we came to the house and the child was in a bucket, in a water bucket. And you see that child looking at you. We all saw there's a disability. It was wrapped in a blanket. And then to take the child out, we had a wheelchair, a very specialized wheelchair, from a child that died 4 months ago. So the mother gave that chair to us and says, one day you will find a child what will use that chair of Lubabalu. And Lubabalu now will be happy, wherever he is, to see that that child is sitting in his wheelchair. And to put him from the bucket into that chair, there was a big difference in his face. There was suddenly that smile, there was that kind of like, he was suddenly there.
Okay. And then use this one also. And you are safe.
And on the bucket on the floor down there, looking at us, yeah, we felt something has to change, and good that we had that wheelchair. And that's one step. Now we have to teach, of course, the family how to look after him, how to give him some basic therapy, and we will come back and have to make sure that he gets therapy. Maybe one day he can sit proper, maybe one day he starts talking, and maybe he will crawl, and maybe he gets other operations which are probably necessary as we saw him and his disability. Yeah, that's an exciting project, obviously. It developed through meetings and through meeting people from Evonik Industries. First in South Africa. Evonik has, of course, the company is in South Africa, and then we went to Germany. We explained the whole idea, and then with their idea of giving good protein to people in the village who don't have it. The diet is actually very bad, and we realize that children are often struggling in school because of bad diet even. The protein is not there, and then we realized there is something we can do. We talked to the community, what do you think is best to do here? We talked of sheep, of goat rearing, and then we thought chicken rearing, and the people said no, chicken is the best thing. Chicken, broiler chicken and eggs. So the meat and the eggs production. And that's how the project developed. Then within a year, the money was raised through Evonik Industries and their employees, and then we built the chicken houses.
A chicken farm gave a challenge to persons with disabilities, the community members and the family members, that they should also look at disability in a different way, that they can work with persons with disabilities, they can also work for persons with disabilities. Then you get a family member, mother, sister, brother and so on, would realize, okay, no, while my brother and my sister is sitting here or laying here in bed, I can also take part in a project which involves and benefits persons with disabilities. Then you get also a few persons with disabilities that you put into the project, that they can also learn from able-bodied people, but then also able-bodied people need to understand what this person with disabilities need, what they are, and what they can also achieve, and they can also learn from each other. Hence, the inclusive aspect ties in together.
We are 9 years now in that village after research which we did in the village, very comprehensive research to really find out about also how people live, what do they have, what is their income, what is a household, how many people are there, what do they have in a house, do they have a bed or do they sleep on the floor? And a lot of people, we realize they even sleep on the floor, they don't have that accessibility, they can't come out because they don't even have a wheelchair. And so that is 2010 when it started, 2010, and then we realized let's do a home-based care training, and then in 2014 we got the money from the National Lottery, and we got money for wheelchairs, for crutches, and for that training. So you could train actually 8 people who then really learned how to fix a wheelchair, how to get somebody out of the house, how to put somebody from the bed on crutches, to get people really the basics.
This is our kitchen, going to be.
The bar there that you can put it in.
Accessible toilet inside, it's big enough, a wheelchair can go in, But from a house to the toilet is around, what, 50, 60 meter? And there's no driveway, there's nothing, there's no way that she can go. Even crawling, it would be very difficult for her because the government put the toilet there, dug the hole, make sure that there is the toilet, but then for her is no way that she can come from the house. We put up the ramp in the house, we gave her wheelchairs, Uthongathi. Now, how can the government then come see that advantage of her, that she at least had a wheelchair, she had a ramp to come out of the house, but then they just put her in the toilet, and that's kind of sad. And then when we ask her that, even the mother said no, she never went to the toilet because they're kind of like neglecting it because they think if she can't go there, the whole family is not going to use it.
yini bona abantu babengena zigrey ezanto zigay break time
benze nje indlela yayo.
Man sieht nicht.
Okay, now you can push a little now. Yeah. I always say to people, I would do what I did the same way. I would do it the same. I would spend the time in Soweto, in Uthongathi, in the Eastern Cape, in Johannesburg, and try to live with people with disabilities. I think I would do more for accessibility of people with disabilities. I would get them out of their houses and make people see that whether you're disabled or not, you're still of value. And I would do that. If I have the chance, I would do that. After now 29 years here, I feel there is still a chance of making a difference in people's life. And when I see a smile of a kid, or when I see a child from Bucket sitting in a wheelchair, and I still have a chance to get that child, somehow maybe moving one day, or maybe it can even walk or crawl, I still have a value of us and Uthongathi. We can still do something to change people's life. And that's one by one. The individual for us counts. We have a lot of examples of young people, even in Zambia, in the villages, when you see a child without legs playing soccer and smiling the whole day because he is in school or she is in school, then you want to continue. It's always welcome to come back to be part of the project, which is very important. So if anything happens there, call Mam Dasi, say, can I come back and can I do something? Because we want to make sure you do something in a village where obviously you can't really do much at home because you can't even come alone out of the house. Yes, because you still didn't put up a ramp. The crime is a challenge. The crime statistics are not even saying that what's really happening. There's between the people who are unemployed and poor and on the streets and the people who have enough in South Africa, that gap is just getting bigger and bigger. And when you in South Africa, you see it in front of your doorstep. You see your Porsche driving in front of your house and you're staying in a metal house and living on €100. Or you're sitting in a wheelchair and somebody next door has a good life and he can go to town anytime he wants. So there is that thing of jealousness, of course. Yeah, you want something what somebody else has, but the crime is a little bit out of hand. So we feel you always have to be careful. You always have to turn around. Is something going to happen behind you? When we drive, my colleague must also, when we drive to the house and I drive to the house, we always turn around, we always check, is nobody following us? If somebody is following us, we take another circle, drive another 2-3 kilometers, come back to the house, because there is that high risk that the car gets stolen, that somebody gets stabbed, that somebody gets shot. And that young person who got shot in Soweto in the age of 23, because of, the reason is often not a big thing was stolen for him, maybe his car. That person probably had just a cell phone and somebody shot him for a cheap cell phone. And then he died. So it's a challenge. But I always say we are living here. We are still, we have a lot of challenge. People also try to rob us, kill us in the past. But you continue because the people are there. And what you see in South Africa is the smile of the people on the streets, the smile of everybody. The people are very friendly. And that is, I think, I don't see any longer the big walls and the fences and the kind of challenge of people protecting what they have inside, and they drive into the big walls and that's it. I see the people, and the people on the streets and the people who are in South Africa, yeah, always with a smile and always very friendly to everybody, and that makes a difference.